Hello and welcome to the In Focus series section of Drishti IAS. I am Aisha Singh, and in today's video we will be discussing about National Automated Fingerprint Identification System, popularly known as NAFIS. So let's look at the timeline of the video, what all we will be studying. First we will be looking at the news, then what is NAFIS, India's first automated fingerprint identification system, fingerprinting as a crime fighting tool, then the development of fingerprinting or what has been in its history, then about the advantages of fingerprinting. In the end we will be looking into a prelims MCQ and a mains practice question. This topic is of relevance from General Studies paper 3, Science and Technology. From prelims perspective, it is important to know that what is NAFIS, who has developed this system, and which is the first state which is using it. And from mains perspective, it is important to know what is NAFIS, development of fingerprinting, and what are its advantages. So let's get started and see the news, and this news has been taken from the explained section of Indian Express, and it reads, what is NAFIS and the story of how fingerprinting began in India. So the central idea of the news is what is NAFIS. So let's see that why is it in news. Recently what has been seen that Union Home Minister Amit Shah has inaugurated the National Automated Fingerprint Identification System, that is NAFIS, and it is developed by the National Crime Records Bureau, popularly known as NCRB. Important prelims point. Then NAFIS will help in the quick and easy disposal of cases with the help of a centralized fingerprint database. So this will make the process fast and easy, and there will be one single centralized fingerprint database, so that from anywhere the police system or anyone who wants to use it can use it according to the needs, and there will be some certain terms and condition. So the disposal of cases will become fast and easy, and this will be really very helpful for the police system of India. Then the Madhya Pradesh has become the first state in India to identify a deceased person through NAFIS. So this is also an important prelims fact. So who has developed it and which one is the first country to use it are two important points from this slide. Now let's talk about that what is NAFIS. See, it is a conceptualized and managed by NCRB at the Central Fingerprint Bureau. About the NCRB we have just seen in the previous slide. Then NAFIS is also a country-wide searchable database of crime and criminal related fingerprints. So all over the country, all the criminals will have their fingerprints, and it will be a centralized system, so that imagine that if there is one criminal who is present in Tamil Nadu and whose fingerprints has been taken and has been put on NAFIS, then someone sitting in Ladakh or Kashmir or Jammu will be able to have access to it, because that process will be a centralized process. So this will also help in fast disposal of cases. Then it is a web based application, and it functions as a central information repository by consolidating fingerprint data from all states and union territories. Very important mains point, that it will be a central information repository. Anyone sitting in any state or the union territory will have access to all the crime or all the criminals related information, because this will be a central information repository. Then according to 2020 report by the NCRB, it enables law enforcement agencies to upload, trace, and retrieve data from the database in real time on a 24/7 basis. So this will be present on 24/7 basis, and real time data can be given to people. So, and anyone who wants to access it, and see, this will be very helpful even in reducing the crime rate. So because the people will be able to judge the criminal, or people will be able to find out all the information about the criminals in a very quick fashion. Then NAFIS assigns a unique 10-digit national fingerprint number, which is NFN, to each person arrested for a crime. See, take for example, if I have committed some crime and I am a criminal, just for example. So what will be done? I will be given a unique 10-digit number. Say for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this will be my unique 10-digit number, that is NFN. And this unique ID will be used for the person's lifetime. So whatever the crime the person has committed, or if the person does something else also after committing the crime, then all those information will be submitted to this unique ID, because this will remain with the person throughout its lifetime. And different crimes registered under different FIRs will be linked to the same NFN, which is National Fingerprint Number. And now about what the unique 10-digit number works would be that the ID's first 2 digits will be that of the state. So for example, this is my unique NFN. So the first 2 digit, that is 1 and 2, will represent the state. So the ID's first 2 digit will be that of the state code in which the person arrested for the crime is registered. So where the person has been arrested, the first 2 digit will represent that state. Then this will be followed by a sequence number. So the first 2 numbers will represent the state in which the person is arrested, while the other numbers will represent a sequence number. Then NAFIS will provide the much needed unique identifier for every arrested person in the crime and criminal tracking network and system, that is CCTNS. This is how the NAFIS will work. It will give a unique 10-digit identification number to a criminal. See, these are important facts because these are the facts which comes in an exam. Like for example, if a question is asked in the UPSC preliminary exam and which says which among the following statement is correct regarding the NAFIS, then what would be the statements? The statements will come like that NAFIS assigns a unique 10-digit national fingerprint number, and the national fingerprint, the first 2 digits of the national fingerprint number represents the state. It can replace the word state with a district. This is how the points become important, or this is how the UPSC tries to trick you with the questions by changing little informations. Now let's talk about India's first automated fingerprint identification system. Now there were recommendations of the National Police Commission in 1986, and it says that Central Fingerprint Bureau was first began to automate the fingerprint database. So who was the first to automate fingerprint database was Central Fingerprint Bureau, and it talked about digitizing the existing manual records. So the existing manual records, digitizing the existing manual record was talked by whom? It was talked by the Central Fingerprint Bureau. And who recommended it? It was recommendation by the National Police Commission in 1986. Then the digitizing the existing manual records through India's first automated fingerprint identification system in 1992, which was called the Fingerprint Analysis and Criminal Tracking System, also known as FACTS 1.0. And then the FACTS 1.0 was upgraded to FACTS 5.0 in 2007. So since 2007, it is FACTS 5.0 which worked. But now it has been said that the FACTS 5.0 has outlived its shelf life and it needed to be replaced. And now it has been replaced by NAFIS. Now let's talk about fingerprinting as a crime fighting tool. So the fingerprinting was first emerged in colonial India. The concept of fingerprinting was first developed in colonial India and it was used by the Britishers or the British colonial officials for administrative purpose rather than criminal purpose. And firstly, who was the one who used it in the initial period? So it was William Herschel. William Herschel was the chief administrator of the Hooghly district of Bengal. So he used fingerprinting to reduce fraud and forgeries. It was during the times of 1800 and onwards. So what William Herschel did was he took the fingerprints of the criminals and what he did was he used those fingerprints to identify the criminals. And then it ensured that the correct person was receiving government pensions, signing land transfer deeds and mortgage bonds. Then it was anthropometry. Then what was anthropometry? Anthropometry was measurement of physical features of the body. And initially, before the fingerprinting came into being, it was anthropometry which was in use. So anthropometry was used by officials in India. But after that, when fingerprinting came to being, then anthropometry was replaced with a system of fingerprints. And because fingerprints system was considered more accurate, as it was considered more accurate, it was believed that no two people can have identical fingerprints. So because every person has different type of fingerprints, it was considered to be more accurate to reach to a person. Now let's talk about development of fingerprinting, how the concept of fingerprinting developed over the years. Then fingerprinting talks about the uniqueness of every individual fingerprints, because they are so unique that every single person on planet is considered to have different fingerprints. So identifying them becomes easy. And it was first proposed in Europe by the German anatomist Johann Meyer in 1788. Then William Herschel began to implement fingerprinting as a means of identification in Bengal. We have seen this in the previous slide about the Herschel. Then similar attempts were made in England and beyond England also. Then the Bengal police were able to create fingerprint records which replaced the use of anthropometric measurements by 1897. This is how the development of fingerprints took place. Then the world's first fingerprint bureau was established in Calcutta. Very important point, that where was the world's first fingerprint bureau was established? It was in Calcutta. Then the Inspector General of the Bengal Police, that was Edward Henry at that time, what he did was he recruited two Indian sub-inspector, that was Aziz-ul-Haq and H.C. Bose. So what they did was, see, Aziz-ul-Haq was the one who first devised a system of primary classification and a system for indexing names in court conviction registered. But what happened was that Edward Henry never gave Aziz-ul-Haq his due, that he never said that the contribution he made was his. But after many years, it was recognized that Edward Henry had to recognize Aziz-ul-Haq's contribution in the fingerprinting aspect. After Edward Henry recognized Aziz-ul-Haq's contribution in the fingerprinting aspect, the colonial government also recognized it. Now let's talk about the advantages of fingerprints. First is security. See, because the fingerprint, everyone has different fingerprints and this will be present in the central repository, so there will be the national security would be given to it, and many advanced features will also be there. So the security aspect and the safety aspect will be high. Then ease of use, because the fingerprinting or the NAFIS will be present on the central repository. So someone who has committed crime and the information registered by them, for example in Tamil Nadu, will be available to all the people or all the people of police or the police department all over the India. Then accountability and non-transferable, as this will be a central repository, so the accountability will be there and the credibility will also be there. Digital presence, as I've just told you, that everyone would be able to access it. Interconnected, because there is digital presence, then interconnectedness and interoperability will also be there, because the people of one state can also identify the information about the criminal of other states also. Now let's look at a prelims MCQ, and you people need to tell me the answer in the comment section, and you will be able to do this. We have discussed this point in the video, that which is the first state of India to identify a deceased person through NAFIS. First, A. Assam, B. Kerala, C. Madhya Pradesh, and D. Maharashtra. So next and the last aspect is the mains practice question, and the question is explain how National Automated Fingerprint Identification System, that is NAFIS, is helpful for society. State few of its advantages. It is a 10-marker question, so you people can do your answer writing practice, and the command given is, first one is explain and the second is state. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Till we meet next time, keep reading and keep writing.